Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. They are the unseen hands shaping your circumstances, crafting your opportunities, or reinforcing your limitations. And unless you take control of your thinking, life will take control of you. The truth is this: no man ever rose to greatness by allowing his mind to be a playground for negativity. If you are to rise, if you are to transform your life in the image of your highest vision, then you must break free completely, decisively, relentlessly from the prison of negative thought. Because make no mistake about it, negative thinking is a prison. It is a form of self-imprisonment so deceptive that most do not even realize they are the jailer. I have watched men of great potential sabotage their lives because they refused to guard their minds. They allowed fear to become their companion, doubt to become their voice, failure to become their identity. But I have also seen ordinary men rise to extraordinary levels of success simply by changing the direction of their thoughts. And that is the difference, the only difference, between those who live with purpose and those who live by accident. You see, your mind is fertile ground. Whatever seed you plant will grow. Plant fear, and fear multiplies. Plant resentment, and bitterness takes root. Plant hopelessness, and despair becomes your harvest. But plant belief, and faith will bloom. Plant vision, and action will follow. Plant gratitude, and abundance begins to flow. The problem is not the soil, it is the seed. And if your life has been bearing rotten fruit, it is not because you are cursed. It is because you have been planting the wrong thoughts. Negative thinking does not announce itself. It slips in quietly. It begins with a complaint, then a comparison, then a conclusion. I'm not good enough. I'll never have enough. It's too late for me. And before you know it, you are living under a mental forecast that predicts rain, even on sunny days. You wake up worried. You walk through life expecting failure. You don't trust your own ideas. You don't pursue opportunity, not because you can't, but because you've been convinced that you shouldn't. But I tell you now, this can change, not through luck, not through circumstance, but through mastery of the one power that no man can take from you, the power to choose your thoughts. No matter your background, no matter your bank account, no matter your age, you can decide what thoughts you will cultivate. And that decision, made with faith and followed with discipline, will transform your reality. Understand this. Thought is the foundation of all achievement. Every building, every invention, every fortune ever created began first as an invisible idea in someone's mind. That is where all transformation begins. And if you allow your mind to be dominated by the negative, you cut yourself off from the source of all creativity, all inspiration, all forward movement. Negativity is not just unpleasant, it is dangerous. It paralyzes potential. It blinds you to opportunities. It makes the present miserable and the future seem impossible. You cannot afford to be careless with your thoughts. You cannot afford to let negativity live rent-free in your mind. You must treat your mind like sacred territory. Guard it, protect it, clean it, feed it, discipline it. Because whatever you allow to stay there will grow roots. And once it takes root, it will begin to shape your identity. And identity, my friend, is destiny. Now, how do you break free? The first step is awareness. You must become aware of the patterns in your thinking. Start to observe your thoughts like a watchman on the tower. Notice what triggers your negativity. Is it failure? Is it rejection? Is it comparison? The moment you notice it, stop and say, this thought is not serving me. It is not aligned with who I am becoming. Then replace it with a new declaration, one that empowers, not one that imprisons. I am learning, I am growing, I am building, I am on my way. Some will say this is delusional, but I tell you it is divine. Because every great transformation begins in the unseen realm of thought. And you must learn to speak your vision until your mind believes it, until your body moves in harmony with it, until your life begins to reflect it. This is not magic, it is mental discipline. And it is available to anyone who will commit. The second step is to refuse to dwell on what you cannot control. Negative thinking thrives in the soil of frustration. And frustration always comes from trying to manage something outside of your control. You cannot control the opinions of others. You cannot control the past. You cannot control the weather or the economy or the unpredictable behavior of other people. But you can always control your response, and that response is born from thought. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I turn this into an advantage? Because in every adversity is the seed of equal or greater benefit, but only if your mind is trained to look for it. The man who sees failure as feedback never stays down. The man who sees struggle as sharpening will never be broken. The man who understands that thoughts become things will never again think casually. And third, you must immerse yourself in the positive. Not just when you feel good, but especially when you don't. Your environment matters. The words you speak, the books you read, the people you associate with, the voices you listen to, all of it becomes food for your mind. And your mind, just like your body, becomes what it consumes. If you feed it gossip, fear, and distraction, it will become weak, anxious, and confused. But if you feed it truth, vision, and possibility, it will become bold, focused, and unshakable. Every morning, begin your day by feeding your mind with purpose. Read something that uplifts you. Speak something that empowers you. Write something that clarifies your vision. This is how you take control of the day. Because if you do not command your mind, it will be commanded by whatever noise is loudest in the world around you. Your thoughts shape your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your actions. Your actions shape your results. And your results, when repeated, shape your reality. That is why the most important battle you will ever fight is not out there, it is in here, in the space between your ears. Win that battle, and the world will bend in your favor. I want you to see your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. Every belief is a root. Every action is the fruit. If you plant negativity, you reap doubt. If you plant faith, you reap courage. If you plant purpose, you reap power. So I ask you, what have you been planting? And are you willing to dig up every root of fear, every weed of self-pity, every thorn of regret, and replace them with new seeds of hope, of discipline, of belief? This is not easy, but it is necessary, because nothing will change in your life until something changes in your mind. You can work harder, run faster, make more connections, but if your thoughts are poisoned, your progress will be too. The outer life can only go as far as the inner life is willing to grow. And so I challenge you, break free from the belief that your past defines you. Break free from the lie that your fear is permanent. Break free from the habit of doubting your greatness. And choose today to think in alignment with the man you are becoming, not the man you were. Because when you change your thoughts, you change your vibration. And when you change your vibration, you change your direction. And when you change your direction, success begins to move toward you like a river flowing downhill. The world is waiting not for a perfect version of you, but for a disciplined thinker, a conscious creator, a man who has chosen to rise above the mental noise and walk in power. That man is inside of you, and it's time to wake him up. The man who masters his thoughts becomes a master of his world, not because he controls everything around him, but because he controls the one thing that matters most. How he interprets, reacts to, and ultimately transforms every experience into fuel for his mission. That is the secret. That is the turning point. When you stop allowing your thoughts to control you and you begin to control them, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your destiny. You must never underestimate the power of a single dominant thought. One idea held with faith, repeated with conviction, and pursued with relentless action can outbuild 1,000 intentions never backed by belief. But you must also understand that the opposite is true. One negative thought, allowed to live in your mind unchecked, can sabotage years of effort. One moment of internal doubt, if nurtured, becomes a habit. And the man with a habit of doubt is a man who has given up his throne in the kingdom of personal power. The only difference between the man who creates and the man who collapses under pressure is this: how he thinks when things don't go his way. You see, it's easy to be positive when the sun is shining and the money is flowing and the praise is pouring in. But what happens when you fail? What happens when your plan doesn't unfold the way you expected? What happens when the world goes quiet and all you're left with is your own voice? That voice, your inner dialogue, is either your greatest coach or your cruelest enemy, and you choose who it becomes every day, every moment, every thought. If you don't program your mind to speak life, the world will program it to speak limitation. You will absorb the doubts of others, the fears of society, the negativity of the media, and you will begin to accept those as your own. But they are not yours unless you choose to claim them. You were not born to think small. You were not born to be afraid.